What's going on, everybody? I want to do a Benchmade review today on the 162 Bushcrafter. This is a knife that Benchmade delved into the bushcraft world, if you will. I would say that bushcraft purist may not agree with this, but I don't care. So obviously these knives don't come with the lanyards and stuff like that. I have this knife on loan by someone that can make all kinds of stuff with paracord. And I actually like it on here if you're thinking about outdoors and stuff like that. I think it's always nice to have extra cord. The cordage is good. Okay. So again, this is the Benchmade 162 Bushcrafter. It's a beautiful knife. I am a huge fan of it. I honestly don't know the success rate or anything like that of this knife, but I think it's awesome. Okay, so let's take a look, and I can tell you some of the dimensions. The overall length of this knife is 9.2 inches, so nothing crazy for a fixed blade outdoor knife. The blade itself is 4.43 and the handle is 4.77. The handle is a G10. You have the green with the red liners. And it is a big handle. I really, really like it. You obviously have a full tang here. These are titanium right here. And they're flared at the end. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they are flared at the end, so the handles are most likely going nowhere. I like the holes because if you were trying to attach this to a stick or something like that, you know, for a spear-like weapon, I think it's just going to help you secure the knife to whatever you're doing. So I like that. It does offer, you know, a little less weight in the handle. I think in general, the knife is pretty well balanced. To be honest, you can see where my hand is here. I think it's pretty well balanced. You know, you might have a little more weight up front. So where my finger is here is the balance point, but you also have a hunk of blade, and then you have holes in the handle here to lighten it a little bit. And of course you have the lanyard hole in the back, which has a titanium tube as well. So the fit and finish on this knife is second to none. I think it's fantastic. It just doesn't feel like any hot spots or anything. It's just machined really well. You know, you could do some fine cutting and stuff like that with this side contour. The handle just feels great. As most of you know, when I say I am a fan of jimping, so I would probably put a little bit of jimping on there myself. And I know you can do it yourself. I don't like cutting on knives. This isn't even my knife. But jimping's cool. It doesn't have to be deep. It could be some shallow jimping. I think it helps give you a little secure grip. This was designed by Shane Siebert, as you can see right there. And again, it is the S30V. S30V is not a common blade steel in a bushcraft knife. Most people, I would say, have carbon steel. S30V is extremely durable and it will not rust. I mean, very, very low likelihood of rust. I'm a fan of S30V. I've never seen it really in a bushcraft knife, but I think it's awesome. Again, most bushcraft knives have a Scandi grind, which you're going to see is a lot lower than this. And I think Bushcraft's or Benchmade calls this a high ground drop point. So is what they're calling it. Some websites call this a flat grind. I definitely would not. I mean, if it was all the way up to here, I would call it a flat grind. I do not call this a flat grind at all. Okay. There is a little sharpening choil. For those of you that sharpen knives, you understand the value in that, because if that little choil is not there, you're most likely going to cut up on the tang of the knife here. You're going to grind into the handle, and it's just a mess. So that little choil, it is very small. That little sharpening choil right there makes a big difference. And it actually makes you think the people that design the knife have sharpened a knife before, because a lot of knives don't have that. And people add them. They manually add them with like chainsaw Dremel bits, sharpener Dremel bits, and all kinds of stuff. People add those little choils. But if you don't have it, it can cause some issues. But here, of course, you have the expensive butterfly, 162. You're always going to pay more because of that butterfly, and it's made in the United States, which is very, very cool. You have to pay U.S. citizens to make this, which most people are proud to do. The price range I've seen on this is, well, it's pretty solid, around $200. It is not a cheap knife. I would recommend this over, buying a $50 cheap knife. I would just put your money away and get something quality. There's a lot of good knives out there, bushcraft knives in general, but this one I would highly, highly recommend. I think it's awesome. The satin finish and everything, I think it's really put together well. And then you have the sheath here. The sheath has a plastic insert in it. Some people change the sheath. Some people add a different insert. It does feel very, very flimsy, I guess. I mean, I think it looks just fantastic. It's an open grain buckskin finish. So you could put your loop, your belt loop through here. You also have a D loop here that you could hang it on. The knife feels very, very secure in here. The clasp and everything fits very, very well. So I think they did an amazing job, again, on the fit and finish. Here you can put your Firestone or, Flintstone. You can put it right there. And a lot of people I saw, they started fire with the spine here because it's very, very, sharp angle, which is a good thing in this case. And maybe that's why there's not jimping on there. So you can use the Firestone. But overall, I think it's an awesome knife. I do want to put it next to some other knives that I have. This is the Buck 632 with a hollow grind. I mean, the fit and finish and everything is very rough. It's a very cheap knife, okay? The metal, I don't even know if it's on here, but just to give you an idea, right? I do own some other fixed blades. I think you guys have seen this. I don't want to totally eclipse the Benchmade since this is a Benchmade review. Oh, this is the Top Steel Eagle, right? It's the 107C Delta class. Badass knife, guys. Badass. Here I have the World War II trench knife, which I did put a wicked edge on. This thing's a beast now. I'd use it for home defense. 1943 USM3. Awesome, awesome knife. It is just, this is a replica, but if a knife like this could tell stories from the war, wow. Wow. All right, let's see. And then the last one I have is the Thomas Hacker handmade, hand forged. There you go. Mountain knife. So this is why I'm saying this is not a very large knife. Okay. Because I have a lot bigger knives. But for camping, backpacking, everything else, I think this knife would be awesome. I highly recommend it. If you're willing to spend $200, I think this might be the outdoor knife for you. I think it's really, really awesome. Do your research. If you don't want to spend $200, there's a lot of great knives out there. There really is. And they don't have a butterfly, so they're usually cheaper. But just make sure they have good reviews, good material, everything else. But yeah, this is the Benchmade 162 Bushcrafter. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Share with your friends and family. Last thing I wanted to mention was there's also a 162-1 with a sand colored G10. I wanted to fit that in just so you have all the information you need on this knife. If you want to see some use videos. There's a ton of reviews online. That's why I probably won't get into this, and I need to give it back to the lender. All right. Thanks again for watching, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Have a good rest of the day.